Okay guys, finishing up the 95 GT intake lower. You can actually see the epoxy on the inside of the port. I think I'm going to show you all of them. Little dot on that port. Little dot in that port. This is a pretty steep port. You can see that spot right in the corner. Okay, our dead straight port doesn't get any. You can see it's a good one in this one, and that port's relatively straight and compared to the others. You can see epoxy in that corner. And this is number 5. This is the worst dogleg port. Okay? That's that one. This has got the worst dogleg. This is second worst dogleg. These 4 in the middle are very, very similar. And these 2 towards the end here are relatively straight. Okay, so let's go back. Okay. This is where we left off. Okay, that was number 5, the severely dogleg port. It was ported, but it didn't break through the casting yet. It had a ported throttle body. So the best we did on there was 69.3 at 600 lift. Now, the only thing different here is I broke through and I put some epoxy and I changed that a little bit. So take a look. Let's do pluses and minuses. Okay. Plus, plus, minus, plus, 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 plus. Okay, so what was the epoxy worth? It was only worth 169.3 to 173.2. Now, I should also state that the upper hasn't been touched. Okay, that's going to be my next phase. Is I'm only going to do what I can get to on the upper. I don't think I'm going to cut it open. It's just insane. I don't think I'm doing that. But let's see how this compares to, this is number 5 with the serious dogleg. This is number 4, which is nearly straight. It's not the straightest port. It's like the second straightest port. Now we'll do plus or minuses from this side to here. Okay, and this is a straighter port. It should be much, much better than this. Let's see how we did. Okay. At the lower lifts, the dogleg port actually beat it, right? Yeah, minus, minus. Plus, plus, plus. I want you to notice, though, how relatively close they are. And somebody's going to say, well, Charlie, you didn't flow at stock. Listen, I don't have to flow at stock. I've flowed this design base before, completely stock. It's 28% different on the heavy dogleg ports versus the straighter ports. We're a lot better than 28% different now. Right? A lot better. I mean, at 600, we go from 173 to 182. It's 9 CFM. Okay? Which is amazing considering, the relatively straight ports are easy to make really good. The serious dogleg ports take a ton of work, and you better know what you're doing. Otherwise, it's not going to flow the air you want. So, the other thing we need to look at is our swirl. Let's take a look at our swirl from here to here. Let me put pluses and minuses in. Okay, kind of interesting what's going on with the swirl. So we're comparing these swirl numbers to when I did the epoxy and I did some more work to this dogleg port. Notice the reversal we have at 0.05. It was minus 156, but it was positive 31 here. All right, so we get a minus. 0, 0, 34 to 17, minus 28, 0, 20, 0. This is the back and forth, 24 negative and 27 positive. This was a steady 13. 483, 31, another minus. 1144, 1100. Finally picking up at the 400, which I have on good intel. If it's relatively dead and then kicks at the higher lifts, that'll really run well. And that came from an extremely experienced guy. 1350, 1300. 1530, 1450. 1787, 1580. Now, we can also look at what the swirl's doing on the straighter port. Now, of course, they're completely different geometry. They're going to have different swirl patterns. Take a look at how much different they are, right? This one's minus, this one's 0, 0, 0. 17, 737. That kicks the swirl up real soon. 0, 740. 0, 660. 13, 707. 31, 920. 1100, 1725. Sorry guys, my hand's falling asleep. Okay, where were we? 1300, 1990. 1450, 2220. 1580, 2650. Definitely a much steeper swirl curve throughout the lift range. Now, what do you think that's going to do between one cylinder and the other cylinder? This cylinder doesn't quite flow as well and has less swirl. This one flows better, has more swirl. We'll leave that a question for the comment section. The other part is, what kind of horsepower can we expect? If this is probably our worst port, and this is probably our second best port, what kind of horsepower can we get out of this without even touching the upper intake manifold? Did not touch it. That'll be my next test. I'll do what I can on the upper, and we'll probably reflow these exact two ports. That way we got apples to apples comparison. Let me give you just a quick view of the top side of these ports, and then we'll call it quits for tonight. Okay, 8 is basically dead straight, right? 7, yeah, 7. 7's got a decent dog leg to it, you know. And we should probably show you what our finished epoxies look like, because you know, Advancing Target said, oh, what it was, crappy. I don't know. I forget what adjective he used, but yeah, I did a little test. You know, he hurt my feelings. So I took one of these epoxies that I could, you know, really get in there, and I did some prying against it. It will not budge. So it's a permanent repair that you're not going to have to worry about ever. Okay. Okay. So 8, 7. So we got 6 here. 6 is very similar to 7. 7's a little bit steeper dog leg. And then, of course, we've got 5 is this one. 5, you can really see how steep it is. It's got a serious steep turn. But if you take a look, you can see I can only get so far with the burr, right? So I missed a few spots. But take a look at, get my pointer. Take a look right in here. You can take some metal out of that and really start to get it to inch around. Considering how close that is in flows to this port, let's turn this around. You can take a look at this port. Okay, here's number 4. Number 4 has a slight dog leg. Not much. Look at it. Relatively straight. Not quite as straight as 8, but damn close. I bet they flow within a couple CFM of each other. And remember, this only flowed 9 CFM better than that serious dog leg port. You know, it comes up to here. Goes all the way over to here. It's got like a 2.5 inch offset. I'd probably measure it, find out. But let's take a look at the rest of these. So that's 4. So this is 3. 3 isn't bad. It's got a little bit of a dog leg. Not bad, though. 2 really isn't bad. 1's pretty bad. 1 is pretty bad. But it's just like... It's just like 5. If you know what to do with the shapes and the areas, you can get it damn close. Now, should I explain how you do that? Nah, not today. I just don't have it in me, guys. But we can put that in the questions section too. What do you do to the areas in a dog leg port to make the air go around those corners? We'll see how you do on that. Okay, let's take a look down its throat and a couple of them. That one's relatively straight. This one's relatively straight. And this one's relatively straight. All right. Okay, the other side of the intake. Oh, that one's not bad. That one I actually took a good sized piece out of that roof to get to the shape that I wanted to get. And that port is pretty damn straight. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good night.